Hi everybody, welcome to School of Scarlet. Today I have another message for you. So today's message was coming through in various ways today, so I'm going to share that here with you today. But before we begin, if you're new here, I want to welcome you to my channel. I want to welcome you to hit that subscribe button, to hit that notification bell, and come back for my daily intuitive messages. So have you felt like people have been kind of just dropping out of your life? Today's message is about that, and a lot of different things were coming through. So I'm going to start with the first thing that was coming through. I was driving and I was listening to a song. It was a song by Jelly Roll, and one of the songs that he made quite a while back, actually. I think it was like a collab with somebody else. But anyhow, in the song, part of the lyrics talked about how you're so real to have the fake can't be around you. Like, you're just so real that the fake drops out. So that really came through because I was also talking to someone earlier today about how they were feeling lonely because lots of people were dropping out of their lives. Now, this is something that I went through a few years back, where I noticed that people were dropping out of my life, and it was kind of like unexpected. It wasn't like, I consciously made that choice. Those people were somehow being removed from my life. And how they were being removed was they weren't calling anymore. They weren't talking to me anymore. It's like they disappeared off the face of this earth. And so that's one way that people will drop out. Another way is sometimes there will be things that happen, like disagreements. There'll be actual, scenarios where we have to decide to let go of people that aren't serving us anymore, that aren't resonating. It's not that they're not serving us in a egoic way. It's like they're not bringing anything to the table. So the other thing that was coming through was that anyone in our lives who we feel isn't coming from the heart, we're beginning to really sense that. And so when we're around people that aren't heart-centered, that aren't keeping us in mind from their heart, it's very obvious to us. And so we can't stand to be around that, really. I mean, we can be around that, but it's not something that we choose. So it becomes very difficult to sustain relationships with people that are not coming from the heart. So give me a comment or a thumbs up down below if you've experienced that. I know that I certainly have noticed it a lot stronger lately. In the beginning, I don't think I was very attuned to what was happening, but now I'm seeing that it's whenever someone's not coming from the heart, there's almost like a resistance there of, not wanting to really engage with that. It's like we don't even want to play that game. It doesn't seem like a game we want to play. So, with that lyric about how you're too real for the fake to be there, it's because you really have elevated yourself to a level where you are so real that you can sense it, you can smell it. It's like when that egoic, person is around you, or anyone who's bringing a sense of fakeness, it becomes like so obvious to us that we just don't want to play that game. It's like, why would we want to play that game? We've already played that game and it's no fun. So we're not even choosing to play that game. And it's not like we're consciously doing that. It's like our energy no longer matches with that. So it just naturally, it's like oil and water. It repels, it can't be. So it's really obvious to me now that it's when people aren't coming from their heart. Now, I've always been the kind of person that could sense when someone was coming from their ego, or someone was coming, in a kind of opportunist way. That was always very clear to me. But now it's become even more clear to me when people aren't coming from their heart space. And it's not a game you want to play. So energetically, it's like you want to walk away. You don't want to play that game with them. So I really do believe that you're watching this video right now because you are at that level where you've become so real, where you don't want to play the game with any fake people, with any fake situations. My dog Lucy's running around, so if you hear her barking, she's exploring behind the camera here. So the fakeness that we sometimes sense, it's really a repelling kind of thing to us. It doesn't make sense to us anymore. It's almost like that seems almost funny and silly that people would, come here and be fake. But we have to honor their process. They're going through that process that we went through at one point. There was a point that maybe we had that fake kind of persona. There was a time where maybe we were very much into our ego, or, any of these things. So we just have to respect their process. But when they don't resonate, when that's not okay for us, they're going to drop out of our lives. And that could be everybody that you know. So for some people, I know I was talking to someone earlier who sensed or, expressed a sense of loneliness coming through because of this. And there will be a loneliness because as they leave, as they exit your life, they leave a space. And so there's like this empty space there. And I talked about it yesterday a little bit. It's like the sense of the void. And it's like you kind of feel in a free fall. It doesn't feel totally secure. But when you realize what that space is, when you've been through it enough times, you realize that that is the space of the womb, of growth, of where everything comes from. So it's uncomfortable, or it feels kind of like a free fall, but just go with it. Go with it. And as you go with it, those people that fell out of your life will either come back in a way where they're more heart-centered, when they've evolved through whatever, that separation period from you may have mirrored or reflected something to them that may activate their heart. And so they may come back in a more heart-centered way where you can resonate with them and you can interact with them in that way. Or you may totally lose them and you may never hear from them again, which happened to me, quite a few times, that, there was people that it seemed like they fell off the face of this earth. And I even, tried to reconnect with some of these people, and I would reconnect and it would almost seem okay. But the next day it was again like they disappeared off the face of this earth. There was no communication. There was nothing there. So when those people leave your life, what seems like permanently, you just have to honor that. That they were meant for your life for a certain period of time, but they weren't meant to be with you the whole time. And that's okay. We don't own anything here on this earth. Everything is temporary. Everything is always changing. And this is infinity happening. So what we think is ours, our friend, our, whoever, or even our lover or whatever, they're not ours really. We don't own anything here. So everything is ever changing. So if they've dropped out of your life where it really seems like they're not coming back, and you sense a feeling of loneliness, it's okay to mourn that, to have a little bit of grieving for that. But when you're in that space of the void, what's really happening is you're preparing some space for something new to happen. Anytime there is space, something always ends up filling it. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. You lose a job, you might not have a job for a while, but eventually something fills it. You break up, you lose a relationship or something like that. You don't have a relationship for a while, something fills that. And at first it could be just the love for yourself, the attention and the attention you've been missing of giving to yourself. So that self-love replaces it, but eventually something else replaces it. A more aligned relationship, a relationship with someone who is, resonating more on the level of the heart. So allow that space to be there, because something will soon take its place. And while you're in that void, while you're in that space, if you can't find anything for you to, cling to or to be with yourself, align to yourself, give yourself that love, prepare that fertile soil of who you are for the next thing that comes in, rather than trying to go back to the past and clinging to something that doesn't fit anymore, doesn't align anymore, can't come with you to the next stage that you're going to. You're not meant to stay in the past. You're meant to keep moving forward. And, for anyone that's watching this video, if you've lost a lot of people from your life, they've been dropping off, if you've been letting go of a lot of things, whether it's your job, material things, beliefs, whatever it happens to be, you're on a very fast evolution, which means that you have, a whole nother level, a whole nother aspect of your life to live out. So you're letting go of those things so quickly because you're accelerating your evolution to something else. You're going to be walking in a different place. You have, maybe a spiritual gift. You have maybe something to teach. You have something to give here on this earth. You have another side of your life that you have yet to live. So you're letting go of those things, kind of shedding that skin is what I'm seeing, kind of like a snake shedding for the next portion of your life. And this can continue to happen to your life. There's many people that go through many deaths and rebirths, and they have many aspects to their life that is very rich and different. It's a different life. It's an unconventional life. But you're meant to live that, if that is what's happening in your life right now. So go with it. That's all you can really do, is just go with it. Surrendering this is also a process of surrendering is what I'm hearing. It's like we're taught to surrender, or we know that along the awakening path we're meant to surrender. Well, surrendering means surrendering to these sorts of things. When people drop out of our lives, when we let go of things, when we're in the void, surrendering to whatever is to come. So you're being called to surrender today. You're being called to let go, to have trust, have faith that whatever has fallen out of your life is, giving space for something more aligned, more heart-centered to who you truly are. So have no fear. Have no fear, have no anxiety about it. Just surrender to what is, and just allow yourself to love yourself. If you have nothing else, then go within. Love yourself. That's what that space is really there for. So that is today's message. I hope that it resonated with you. If it did, give me a thumbs up, give me a heart, comment down below how it resonated with you. Share this video with others that it may reach other people as well. If you're new here, I want to welcome you again to my channel, and I want to welcome you to subscribe, to hit that notification bell. Come back for my daily intuitive messages. If you would like to connect further, if you would like to do a voice activation workshop with me, if you would like to have a one-on-one session with me, you can find all of that information in my description and in the pinned comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you on our next message. I love you all.